What did the popular kid at your school do to go from cool to an absolute outcast? This kid in middle school used to talk shit to everyone. He had nice stuff his parents got him and everyone thought he was tough and could fight until one day he started on a special needs kid. Nobody had ever actually seen the popular kid fight. He just was excellent at intimidation. Now a lot of the special needs kids in my area weren't just students who were mentally challenged, but had overall learning disabilities. Many of those kids came from very tough homes, and the special needs kid who the popular kid messed with was an absolute savage. He grew up in a pretty tough part of town, but was really a gentle giant. He could play football, he was muscular, he could do everything the regular students could do except speak properly, a minor speech impediment. The popular kid challenged him to a one-on-one fight and got his ass kicked by the special needs kid. I'm talking blood everywhere, his clothes got ripped, one of his sneakers landed like 10 feet away, and to top it all off he even tried running away after the first few punches. The special needs kid grabbed him and pulled him back. It was a massacre. The popular kid not only lost all of his influence, but didn't even have the guts to come back to school for like a week. If I ever saw instant karma it would have had to have been on this day, because he was quiet as a mouse the rest of the years through high school. Well, the popular girl at my school tried to ruin the life of a really sweet girl because of boyfriend drama. When she realized people were standing up for the sweet girl instead, she lost her mind, accusing the other girl and her boyfriend of property damage, turning on anyone who didn't swear loyalty to her, turning people against one another, screaming at teachers. It was a mess. The nail in the coffin was when she confided to me and to others that she was planning to put laxatives in the pastries she baked for the class. Obviously I let people know, and she became completely ostracized. She left at the end of junior year, and senior year was the most chill year ever. There was a popular cheerleader at my school that was in a bad car wreck and she suffered severe brain damage. The day she came back some of her friends, aka the popular kids, sat with her at lunch. Every day after that though, they sat on the other side of the cafeteria in their normal spot, and she was with the other special needs students. They would walk past her without saying a word. As far as everyone knew, her entire group of friends completely abandoned her. I don't think she missed them though, so silver lining, she seemed to be very happy most of the time after the accident. Not so much before. This was in the mid-late 80s, and every teen movie with a bunch of shitty preppies pretty much accurately depicts the popular kids in my HS. Robbie was a big huge fucking bully. I used to play football with him, watched a coach go full fucking psycho on him, literally kicking him in the ass all the way off the field, because he spit on a player and the goddamned gall of it just sent the coach into a fucking rage, and Robbie mocked him the whole way off the field. But when that kid hit you, it was like a fucking freight train. He was always very dumb, and angry, and fucking rabid. He teased everyone for everything, yet somehow remained pretty popular in the upper echelon, because he hit like a beast, and won football games. Then one day, it was so fucking weird. He came to school in a sweater with a Nunaround button down underneath. He usually came to school in torn shirts and basketball shorts, and was generally a disheveled mess. He had an older brother Ronnie who never looked like any of that, so we knew he wasn't poor, he was just being Robbie. So this was a big deal, and it was bizarre, and when people asked him what was up with it, he would just say I'm gay now. It was so fucking strange. He did not lose any intensity, but he kept saying, like I'm gay now. I like boys okay, and I want a boyfriend. You wanna go out? I saw him get genuinely upset with people laughing at him. He'd just scream it's not a joke. I'm fucking gay you assholes. Nobody knew what to do with it. We were a country school. We had a gay kid. A kid Robbie had bullied. Now Robbie was trying to hang out with him. Nobody wanted to touch that fucking weirdness with a 10-foot pole. We figured best case scenario the dude had lost a bet. But then he did it the next day, and the next. For months he kept dressing a Robbie version of preppy, and proclaiming his gayness. Pretty sure he got an earring at some point. If I remember correctly he later recanted all of this, and screamed down anyone that brought it up. Maybe it was a legit attempt to come out, but he just Robbied the whole thing up, until it was unpalatable. He's in prison now. She dated me. We were in speech and debate together. both did impromptu, and we would give each other random quotes and stupid cartoons to practice with. Spent a lot of time together because of it. We dated for about 2 days before people mocked her for it, and she bailed on me hard to keep her social status. She never socially recovered from the sin of liking one of the nerds. Thing is though, she then lost all her nerd friends too. I remember in middle school the popular kid asked out the most unpopular girl and then embarrassed her in front of everybody by breaking up with her and laughing in her face about how she could think it was real. It was really sad, and I remember her being really into high school TV shows, and I think she really wanted to be popular, like she hoped life would be like a Disney show or something. IDK what happened to him, but I remember everyone kind of being like dude, and he moved a bit later. In high school the popular kids weren't necessarily bullies. They weren't super welcoming into their circle to invite everyone to parties and stuff, but they weren't total bullies, at least that I know of. They were just good at sports and attractive pretty much. Best answer to this happens between elementary and middle school. Our elementary was small, and we fed into a middle school with a much bigger school. Think 20% us, and 80% them. Most popular kids showed up on the first day, after only knowing what it's like to be the coolest kid in the small school, and tried to start shit with some random kid, who was with 11 of his friends. To show how cool and top dog he was to everyone I guess. Yeah, those 12 guys beat him up, and then made fun of him for years. He wasn't cool anymore. Just that fast. By high school nobody cared anymore, but he was never really popular again. Wholesome for once, I guess. All popular kids in my school were complete dickheads that bullied others. This fella, king of the hill, starts dating a girl from another school that was friends with one of the bullied kids. The kid told the girl what her boyfriend does in THT school, so the girl threatened to break up with him if he didn't change his ways. He stopped socializing with the cool folks and started getting bullied by them, and none of the other kids wanted to warm up to him. He was a loner at school, but he made his GF happy, and he was happy. It was quick and ruthless. Most popular guy in school was the leader of the popular clique, but he, and the rest of them, was a total asshole. One day he sat down with a quiet kid at lunch, who liked to sit by himself. He asked the quiet kid if he wanted a friend to eat with. This was an obvious attempt to get everyone to see how nice he is, which is shitty already, but it came out like he was calling the kid a loser right to his face. "God, you're such a cunt," said the quiet kid, getting up and moving to a different table. Whole school saw it. It was like that episode of Doctor Who with the silence. Everyone woke up and realized what a dickbag he and his cronies were. They weren't popular after that. My school doesn't really have popular people. Everyone just kinda has their friends. Some people have more than others, but it's not like a social hierarchy. However, this one girl did something that, rightfully, destroyed her reputation. So basically this girl, that was pretty well liked, asked out this boy that no one ever expected her to ask out. It was unexpected, because he was less well known, but in general everyone liked him. They had a cute relationship for about 2 months. He started sitting with her friends at lunch, and was becoming closer with them. Well, one of the girl's friends found out she was cheating on him. She told the boy and her friends, and he was really upset about it. When the girl found out people knew the truth, she said she was only dating him for answers on homework, and that she never actually liked him. Once it got around, no one really looked at her the same. She tried to talk shit about him and the friend that exposed her a few times, but she was either ignored or totally shut down. This year she's not at our school and no one misses her. Got blamed for a drive-by. Basically, was a star track and field sprinter and jumper as well as football player. Nice guy too, a rather typical jock type, but he got along well with virtually everyone. He was definitely popular because he was extremely athletically talented though. He took the fall for a murder he didn't commit. Almost everyone knew he was innocent. He was not a violent individual, just tied up with the wrong crowd at the wrong time. He's gonna spend most his natural life behind bars now. A true shame. He had a bright future, and now he's a physically literal outcast from society, albeit not deserving. Not an outcast, but we found out sadly the double life she had. She is a friend of mine, school sweetheart, boys fawning over her, and a heartbreaker, since she seemed to always turn boys down. She had that good girl next door persona, the type boys would love to introduce to their fam. She had money spending issues, borrowed money and never paid them back, became a habitual liar. The first and last time she conned me was for my tuition fees. She hitched a ride with me and saw the cash I was carrying to pay for the semester. It was my parents' money and any change should be given back to them. Begged me to loan her an amount to pay off her tuition. I kept saying no and gave me a sob story. This is my dear friend and my red flags were going off. I gave her some large amount but not all. Immediately hopped out of the car we were heading supposedly to enrollment building to pay. Made an excuse why she isn't heading to pay. Dodged me for 2 years to pay off the loan. Made excuses. I paid back my mom and lied for her sake as my mom would have raised hell. I only got a fraction of the loan back. From there I saw signs of her double persona, sweet and charming yet conniving. Borrowed money to buy things, to live up to whatever fashion hype. If not money, expensive clothes and equipment. She also bailed on major class projects she promised to take the lead on, almost causing her classmates' graduation eligibility. I heard through the rumor mill that she slept around, and from a family member's account during a sleepover, she tried her luck on my cousin, but nearly got caught by my mom. Around the time this all came to light, people politely kept their distance from her being that girl. She got pregnant, Becca single mom, and used her daughter a few times to borrow money again. The sad part was, a few years ago, she legit got diagnosed with a type of cancer and her treatments were expensive. She nearly got zero financial help from friends and former classmates to help her out due to her lying history. The good news, cancer was caught early and she is doing fairly well. She is working and earning a decent living and seems to have turned over a new leaf since. Pissed off one of the other popular guys, maybe by dating his ex-girlfriend? I can't remember exactly how, but every dude in school shut him out, and he had no friends. Kinda sad because he was a decent guy, and they turned on him at the slightest provocation. But that's how things were in my class. My class was known for having the meanest, cruelest cliques. We had a few substitute teachers who refused to teach our class because we were so awful. I'm glad I moved schools. That place was a nightmare. She was pretty and fairly popular, and near the end of the school year told everyone she had cancer. We were approaching the end of grade 7 at the time. Eventually literally everyone knew. Teachers, other parents, other grades, etc. And it kind of united everyone who weren't typically friends, and that was kind of cool. Until one day, maybe a week or two in, a pair of girlfriends go to visit her at her parents' house and they bring it up and discover it was a hoax. She pissed off a lot of people and lost all her friends after that. Gained new ones eventually, but what a goddamn weird thing to lie about. Majority of the football team was doing steroids, but he was caught red-handed and was where all the outrage was thrown at. It was kind of fucked up. He was always nice to everybody and never picked or bullied anyone. He also gave back to people that helped him with homework. Some kid helped him with math, so he would work out with that same dude after school when it was not football season. After he got caught with steroids, everybody acted like he was a piece of shit bully that was reasonable for cheating. In truth, he was just a dude that took steroids and busted his ass and saw amazing results. Steroids were already there. Local media ran the story and pretty much almost named him. He was under 18, so they walked a fine line. The self-righteous indignation of everyone was disturbing. I was on the football team and also was on roids. I knew other people who were on the same shit. A lot of people on roids loved pointing the finger at him. It was really shitty. I was best friends with the most popular guy in school for a couple years back in middle school. He was great. But the rest of the popular kids, meh. They were all cooler than me in my opinion, but he saved me a seat at lunch every day, and we had our own lame handshake and all that shit. But that whole group never felt like it really fit me, aside from him obviously. So one day at lunch I decided to sit with the nerdy kids who played Magic. Never really got my popularity back after that. And I think I hurt my friend's feelings, because he was never the same to me after that. It was never my intention to hurt him. But that's not the sort of consequence kids anticipate. Never got a chance to reconnect with him unfortunately. Cancer is a bitch, and it took him a few years later. We left him an open chair at high school graduation. On the plus side, I'm still friends with some of the nerdy kids and we're in our 30s now. Magic isn't my thing, but those nerdy kids were great. They taught me that it doesn't matter what others think of you if you love yourself. Popular guy, he kind of remained popular, but was outcasted for a while. He bullied some kid and the kid disappeared. Everyone thought the kid committed suicide, but he just came back one day and said his family went on vacation. Popular kid remained popular. Popular girl, I wouldn't call her popular, but she had a huge clique of friends and well, they would bully people they didn't like or wanted to remove as in change schools. My first real crush was forced to change schools because of their bullying. She would do things like find out information about you, send you fake love letters, or find out where you live, and whenever they would drive by throw stuff at you. Once I got hit on the side of the head with a roll of pennies. Everyone laughs about that one. Lol, I wish someone would throw money at me. The concussion didn't seem worth it. Anyway, back to the girl. She convinced this freshman that they would fill a fun jackass style video for this new website called YouTube or something. He was supposed to do a ghost riding the whip thing, where he was on the roof of the car while no one appeared to be driving it. She was driving it, and while the kid was surfing on the roof, she accelerated as fast as she could down the street while the kid tumbled off and fell into a coma. She said it was his fault. I mean, it was his idea after all. No one was buying it. She was hated, and only a few of her friends remained with her. She got popular with freshmen later for offering sex to them, but a few visits to the police later made her stop. She got pregnant immediately after HS and bragged about keeping her man. I have no idea where she is now or how she is doing, and I'd like to keep it that way. Graduated high school. He turned into that 30-year-old dude that still hasn't gotten over high school.